Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our AGT reaction for live show number 3. We wish we could say this is Coco Vanderwolf's got talent, but her talent is just sitting in the lap. But we have a lot of acts to go through. I think this is a really good second half of this episode, especially.
Yeah, the first half, but second half just killed it. Wow, there was a lot of good stuff going on tonight.
It was one of those sort of things where it's like it's starting a car that's maybe it's like a little bit rickety at first. It takes a while, but then you get it out on the highway and it's like that was the entire second half of this.
Yeah.
We're going to be upset, in other words, by some of the results tomorrow night. With that, be sure to check back tomorrow night. We're going to go through everybody we saw here, but before we do, if you guys do like this video, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, hit that notification bell, and yes, support us further. Check those links to the store and also our Patreon. Our first live chat over there is happening this Sunday. It's always the last Sunday of every month.
All right, let's start out with Dance Town Family, who I don't mean this as any sort of insult, but I honestly just didn't remember them. And when they came on, my first thing was, who is this? Like, I just didn't remember them.
I had to go back and sort of look on YouTube to see what they did. And like once I saw the 20 seconds of them dancing in his studio, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. But I didn't know who they were. I had no recollection of anything. It's like they were good and they were energetic and I think they were well choreographed. It's just I have zero emotional connection to them at all.
Yeah, they were very good, and it kind of sucks for them in that way that they haven't had as much exposure as a lot of other people where we've seen them a couple times now. We've gotten to get to know them, and this is really the first time I'm getting to know them at all. So, and they went first, so that's not great.
Yeah, I think we can probably rule them out, and I hate to say it, but we can probably rule out Nolan Neal as well. I think he is a talented singer, but I'm just looking at the night. I'm looking at the other singers who were there later, and regrettably, he's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, I think Nolan, we're probably going to lose him, even though he is a talent. Just overall, there are a lot of singers this season, like a crazy amount of singers. And just in the show, there were people that were better singers than him.
We don't need to spend too long on Nolan, I think mostly because there could be a lot of time spent on everything that went wrong with Usama, but I think it starts with this. Heidi Klum does not usually like comedians on this show, so it's probably not a good idea to then use her as something that, it may have been a joke, but you're still using an insult at the center of your joke.
Yeah, and the first time I saw him, I don't remember him sort of being quite this edgy.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed his first performance, and then this one I was like, wow, okay, he's really running along that edge here on some of this humor that some of it is landing, some of it isn't, some of it just for the times doesn't land, like all the stuff he was doing in the dance club. And yeah, picking Heidi as the person is never good. If you're a comedian, just don't do that. I don't think he's gonna end up going through with this.
No, and I don't know if it would have worked better if there was a bigger audience there, but I think the problem is, and I'm not someone who frequents the club, so I will say that as a disclaimer here, but I don't actually even agree with the premise of his joke, where I feel like if I was there and some DJ was just sort of making like weird, like misogynistic comments, I feel like I would be like, you know what, I don't want to be at this club anymore, and I would leave.
Yeah, I feel like in this day and age, this joke doesn't work. If this was maybe like in the 90s or 80s, yeah, maybe that joke would work, but not now.
No, I just didn't buy into it.
All right, WAFFLE Crew. I was very excited to see them come back, and they absolutely killed it tonight. I really liked how they used all the different sort of sets and the fake New York and stuff like that. They are just as good as they were.
Yeah, I love this. This is where things start to pick up a little bit for me. Like, I think the energy was awesome. Like, I've seen them do the subway part of this before, but still, their choreography, their energy, the way that they sort of used the camera and used the sets, it it felt like I was actually watching something that was a big production, and I know they have the studio and it's meant to be that way, but it didn't feel like an ordinary dance crew performance. I actually felt like these people all had personalities.
This felt like something I would pay my money to go and see in Las Vegas. It was really cool.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Like, they are one of the best dance crews I think we've seen. Definitely one of my favorites on the night. Like, I've got probably in my head right now 3 people who I consider to be top tier.
For sure.
Please don't disappoint me, America.
Then we also have Annie Jones, and it was interesting with her because she sang a song that I had never heard before, and I know that it's very popular, but I don't listen to anything that's actually popular or on the radio. I'm stuck in a 1950s time warp. Her voice is really beautiful. It really is. And even though this was a song that I was like, I'm unfamiliar with it, she just can hit all these really big, beautiful notes. I mean, she's a great singer. There is no denying it.
I think there's a good chance she makes it through to the next round. And this is not even an insult to her when I say I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not I would want her to. It's just more of a recognition of all of the really good talent that was there, because I didn't necessarily love the choice of music. I love her voice. I think she's, especially for a singer her age, like, she seems to have a pretty good sense of who she is. All of that works really, really well. It's just, can she sort of break through when there are this many other people, and I am really pulling towards, okay, I want to see an illusionist, somebody who there hasn't been a lot of this season. We've got an aerialist later who's great. Like, there's just so much other stuff.
Then we also have Malik Dope, who is easily one of my favorites of the night. He is so good. And I mean, he really did become the musical performance. Him running around, all these different sort of drum kits, the 3 sticks tricks, his flips, everything that was going on. Amazing. I just love him. Crazy energy.
He did. This is also one of my 3 favorite acts of the night. He had musicality. He juggled at one point, basically. He was acrobatic. He was kind of like a dance act. He really did all of this sort of stuff. And as a former high school band drum major who was around the drum line a lot, I've tried to play on those snare drums. It is really, really hard, let alone alternating between them and the cymbals. And it was incredible. Like, he is like one of the best individual drummers I think I have seen. I hope people realize how hard it is what he is doing.
I really, really want to see Malik go through.
Yeah, I really, really do. And, you know, Max Major comes up after Malik, and I'm torn on this in a lot of ways, because I think what he did was impressive, and I'm really pulling for there to be more of a magic presence in the next round, because I don't feel like we have a lot of it this season. But I also feel like I have seen variations on this same trick probably like 8 or 9 times already.
Yeah, and I mean, because he was doing it with everyone at home,
Yeah.
I was also doing it along with everybody. I didn't draw a picture, but I had a picture in my head. So I was kind of like, I wonder if,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about is going to be the same thing that everyone else is thinking about. And I was so stuck on his little beers that that's what I thought of. So when it didn't come up for me as the sunshine, I was like, oh, if I was in the audience, I would have drawn a beer. So it didn't work for me.
I don't know what there must be some sort of trick when you're a part of that audience, because you can't, I admittedly, I wasn't thinking about following along with it.
I just wanted to see, and it's even crazier that I wouldn't have thought of a sunshine, because we are in California and it has been a heat wave for like 2 weeks straight.
That's why you didn't think of it. You're tired of all the sunshine and the
Might
heat.
be why
and-
I was like, I'll take a beer.
Yeah, you would just rather have a beer to just cool down after all of that. I like him. I liked the act. I'll be happy if he makes it through, because I want more magic. But, I have seen things that are similar before.
The Bone Breakers. I love them. They're so great, because I really like contortionists. I love them on the show. There's been a lot that auditioned for this particular season. I like that there's 3 of them. And I also like that they had like upbeat music. They all had these great big smiles on their faces. And normally when you have contortionists, they usually try to go into the more darker, oh, it's really creepy and how creepy can I get? But seeing them doing that with the smiles on their faces had a smile on my face. I really like them.
Just to give everybody a sense of where I am in my head here, this is where I'm having problems because I have Annie, Max, Bone Breakers, and Alan, who we'll get to. Like, these are the 4, and I only have 2 spots for them. It's very difficult to figure out who I like the best because I love what Bone Breakers are doing. I admire their commitment to doing something that I would never consider in a million years. I just also don't think America's probably going to vote for them because America finds this sort of stuff kind of icky. And it sucks that it's that way because I think they're worthy.
I agree. Contortionists don't usually get to go through. Danger Acts sometimes get stuck into that same category. And yeah, they usually get kind of ripped off.
Sheldon Riley.
Oh
wow.
my God. He is so amazing. And I mean, this song that he sang, Can't Get You Out of My Head. I mean, I've listened to that song an unhealthy amount of times in my life. I just loved that song. The rendition that he did of this song tonight is better than the original for me. It was beautiful. It was haunting. His voice is just so gorgeous. I loved it. Love him.
Best singer in America's Got Talent this season. I will say that. I know there's a lot of other really good singers, but it's the combination of his individuality. He's so unique. I love that. I love his fashion. The control in his voice. He restrained himself early on, and that made it when he hit those big notes later. It made it special. I think people try to overdo all the big notes sometimes, and he took us on a journey through his performance. It was moving. I loved his Heidi Klum hero worship at the end of this.
He's so cute. I loved that so much. And I love that they're playing like the wrap it up music. He's like, no. I have this one moment. I am not going to blow this moment. I am going to sit here and tell her how much. You can keep playing that music. I'm like, yeah, you go, Sheldon.
Sheldon has been officially screwed over more than any other contestant this season. Heidi's not there for his actual audition. And now he's like, great, I get to perform. Oh, wait, I'm not actually going to be there in person.
I know. No, he's great. He really is great.
Even if you don't love his performance, vote for Sheldon just so that he eventually can come to Los Angeles and meet Heidi face to face. Alan Silva, another really, really good act. I love the danger of this. This was great.
I love the danger of it. I just love him. I mean, he is really a performer. And I mean, I like that silk rope work. It's really cool. And seeing him flying around, adding the bit of the danger at the end, I mean, it was great. It was a lot of fun and scary to watch.
It was scary. The part at the end with the spikes, I thought was like, I knew he was obviously going to be okay, but it was still the way it was set up. Usually we have like these aerial acts in on a stage, like having it with this setup with all those beams above him and everything else. It was cool.
It was really cool. And the story of him that he had, broken his neck doing part of this act before, and then he's going to do it tonight. And I knew he wasn't going to get hurt or anything like that, but it's still inspiring, that idea of, okay, I've been doing something that I love for a really long time, something really difficult and tragic happened during it, and it took him a year to get through that, and he did, and he's back and he's doing it. I just love Alan.
Finally, we have Christina Ray, and this one is difficult for me because I think her voice is incredible. I think she can probably hit more notes than maybe any other contestant this season. Hallelujah as a song choice, I will say I worry about people choosing it at this point because I've heard like 5 million successful versions of Hallelujah, and I'm too numb to it, I think, at this point, where it doesn't deliver anything for me as it once did. Like, I won't be mad at all if she goes through. She deserves it. It's just that I don't think this made a big emotional impact on me because I've heard this song too much, and this trimmed down like 2-minute version of Hallelujah doesn't do the song itself justice.
Her voice is really amazing. She can hit some crazy notes that other people this season really cannot. But for me, the song choice was a miss, but not because it didn't fit with her voice. It did. For me, it's just more personal because I'm an ex-funeral director. I've heard this song at so many funerals that I just sort of, when I think about it, I connect it to that. So when I hear it now, I'm just like, oh, okay. We're getting ready to do whatever at the funeral because this song is playing. So when I see it on competitions now, I don't make a connection to it. But that's not because of anything that Christina did.
Yeah, I think we're probably in the minority there. I think the majority of people out there probably loved it. I think she probably will be going through.
I think so too.
You know, she closed out the night, and she is really, really good. And that is the problem here. When I look at this whole group, I think, okay, Dancetown Family, Nolan, Usama, probably not going through. Everyone else, maybe Bone Breakers is not in there too, as much as I love them, but I think everyone else is fair game.
I think so, except I actually think that Max is kind of on the fence as well. I know that there are the people that he did the trick with at home, but there may have been other people like me that were like, okay, what am I going to think of? Oh, okay, why didn't it work on me? Next. and it sucks because the trick was still cool, and I liked how he actually showed us how he did it, which is something people don't usually do. It didn't take away any of the mystique for me. It was really interesting to learn how that worked and that it can work.
What did you guys think about this show? Who was your favorite? Who was your least favorite? Tell us in the comments, and if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe. If you want to support us further, check those links to our Patreon and also the store, and we'll see you here next time.